Whispers of Betrayal. In the heart of Chicago, where the relentless wind from Lake Michigan whipped through the skyscrapers like a perpetual reminder of life's unpredictability, Emily Thompson and Mike Reynolds had built what many would call a picture-perfect life. They met during their sophomore year at Northwestern University, in a crowded lecture hall for an intro to computer science class that Emily had taken on a whim to fulfill a general education requirement. She was an art major, drawn to the fluidity of colors and shapes, while Mike was all about algorithms and logic opposites that somehow clicked. Their first date was at a tiny diner off campus, sharing greasy fries and dreams of conquering the world. 5 years later, they shared a 2-bedroom apartment in Wrigleyville, surrounded by the echoes of Cubs fans on game days and the aroma of deep dish pizza from nearby joints. Emily, with her wavy auburn hair that cascaded like autumn leaves and eyes the color of stormy Lake Michigan waves, worked as a freelance graphic designer. Her days were spent hunched over her MacBook in their sunlit living room, crafting logos and websites for startups that promised innovation but often delivered headaches. Mike, tall and broad-shouldered with a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, was a senior software engineer at a tech firm in the Loop. His job involved debugging code for mobile apps that tracked everything from fitness goals to grocery lists. It paid well enough for them to afford weekend getaways to Door County or splurge on tickets to see Hamilton at the Nederlander Theatre. But success came at a cost. Mike's evenings blurred into nights, his laptop screen glowing like a second moon while Emily waited, dinner growing cold on the stove. Their routine had settled into a comfortable rhythm, but comfort can sometimes feel like complacency. Mornings started with rushed coffees from the Keurig, quick pecks on the cheek, and promises of "I'll be home early tonight." Evenings often ended with Mike collapsing on the couch, remote in hand, flipping through Netflix while Emily scrolled through her phone, liking posts from friends who seemed to be living more vibrant lives. Social media was her escape, a window to worlds beyond their beige walls. She'd post about her latest design project, a vibrant poster for a local music festival, and bask in the likes and comments. But lately, the validation felt hollow. Mike would glance at her work and say, "Looks great, babe," without really looking. It was on one such evening, as rain pattered against their window like impatient fingers, that Emily stumbled upon Alex's profile. Alex Harper was an old classmate from her art school days at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, before she transferred to Northwestern. He had always been the brooding type, tall, with tousled dark hair and a camera perpetually slung around his neck. Back then, they'd shared late-night critiques in dimly lit studios, debating the merits of abstract expressionism versus photorealism over cheap beer. Alex had moved to Brooklyn after graduation, chasing the gritty allure of New York City's art scene. His Instagram feed was a mosaic of black and white street photography, shadowed alleyways in Williamsburg, candid shots of subway commuters, and ethereal portraits of models against the Manhattan skyline. Emily's finger hovered over the follow button for a moment before she tapped it. What harm could it do? She was just curious. That night, as Mike snored softly beside her, she liked one of Alex's recent posts, a haunting image of the Brooklyn Bridge at dusk, captioned "Bridges we cross, and those we burn." Her comment was innocuous, "Still capturing the soul of the city, I see. Miss those SAIC days." His response came within minutes, "Emily, wow, blast from the past. Chicago treating you well, your designs are killer, saw that festival poster. Pure fire." And just like that, the messages began. At first, it was surface-level chit-chat. Emily shared snippets of her day, a frustrating client who wanted more edge but couldn't articulate what that meant, or the joy of landing a gig for a boutique coffee shop in Lincoln Park. Alex reciprocated with tales from Brooklyn, a chaotic photo shoot in a Bushwick warehouse, dodging hipsters and graffiti artists, or the thrill of exhibiting at a small gallery in Dumbo. There was no flirting, no innuendo, just a shared history that made the conversation flow effortlessly. Emily found herself smiling at her phone during lunch breaks at her favorite spot, a cozy cafe on Clark Street where she'd order a latte and a croissant, letting the steam warm her face as she typed. But as weeks turned into months, the exchanges deepened. Winter gripped Chicago with its icy fingers, blanketing the city in snow that turned to slush underfoot. Emily bundled up in her wool coat, trudging to a CO working space in River North to escape the cabin fever of home. Mike's work had ramped up with a new project deadline, leaving him even more absent. One particularly bleak afternoon, as flurries danced outside the window, Emily vented to Alex about it all. "Mike's great, but it's like we're roommates more than anything." "No spark," Alex's reply was empathetic. "I get it. After my last breakup, I realized how easy it is to drift. You deserve someone who sees your fire, Em." The nickname Em sent a small thrill through her, a remnant from their school days. She hadn't heard it in years. Mike called her babe or honey, terms that felt generic now. That night, over a hurried dinner of takeout from Giordano's Extra Cheese, "Hold the peppers," Mike asked about her day. "Fine," she said, her mind replaying Alex's words. She felt a pang of guilt, but brushed it aside. It was just talking. No harm in that. As spring thawed the city, bringing blooms to Grant Park and crowds to the lakefront path, Emily's connection with Alex blossomed in tandem. They'd moved from Instagram DMs to WhatsApp for easier chatting, complete with voice notes. Alex's voice, gravelly from years of city living and late nights, would fill her earbuds during jogs along the Chicago River Walk. He'd describe the energy of a rooftop party in Greenpoint, the taste of street tacos from a food truck, or the inspiration behind his latest series on urban isolation. Emily, in turn, opened up about her dreams, deferred the gallery show she'd always wanted but never pursued, the fear that her creativity was stagnating in freelance gigs. One weekend, Mike planned a surprise, a picnic in Lincoln Park Zoo, complete with sandwiches from Pastoral and a bottle of rose. It was sweet, a glimpse of the old Mike. They laughed as monkeys swung overhead, and for a moment, Emily felt connected. But her phone buzzed in her pocket, Alex sharing a funny meme about artist's block. She excused herself to the bathroom to reply, her thumbs flying. "That's hilarious. Totally me today." When she returned, Mike noticed her distraction. "Everything okay?" he asked, brow furrowed. "Yeah, just work," she lied, the words tasting bitter. The guilt began to weave its way into her thoughts like ivy climbing a brick wall. Emily confided in her best friend, Lisa, over brunch at the Bongo Room. Lisa, a marketing exec with a no-nonsense attitude and perfectly manicured nails, listened as Emily spilled it all over pancakes drowned in syrup. "It's not cheating, right? We're just friends." Lisa stirred her mimosa, eyes narrowing. "Emotional cheating is real, Em. If you're sharing parts of yourself with him that you hide from Mike, that's a red flag. Be careful." Emily nodded, but the advice didn't stick. The pull was too strong. Alex made her feel vibrant, understood. He'd send her articles on design trends, recommend podcasts about creativity, even mail her a small print of one of his photos, a Chicago skyline he'd captured on a visit years ago, with a note, "For the girl who inspired me to see beauty in the ordinary." It arrived on a Tuesday, tucked into their mailbox amid bills and junk mail. Emily hid it in her desk drawer, glancing at it when Mike wasn't around. Summer arrived with its humid embrace, festivals filling the streets with music and food trucks. Emily and Mike attended Lollapalooza, squeezing through crowds to see headliners like The Killers. But even amid the bass thumping and lights flashing, Emily's mind wandered to Alex. He'd texted earlier, "Jealous of your Chi-town summers. Brooklyn's a sweatbox. Tell me about the show," she replied discreetly, describing the energy, the outfits, the vibe. Mike caught her typing and teased, "Addicted to that thing," as she laughed it off, but inside, turmoil brewed. The emotional affair escalated during Emily's business trip to Los Angeles for a design conference. The flight from O'Hare was turbulent, mirroring her inner state. Alone in her hotel room at the JW Marriott, overlooking the glittering sprawl of downtown LA, she called Alex. It was their first voice call in months. Texts had sufficed until now. His voice wrapped around her like a warm blanket. They talked for hours, about his recent heartbreak with a fellow artist, how it left him questioning everything, about her fears that marriage and kids, things Mike hinted at, would clip her wings. "You're more than that, Alex said softly. "You're a force. Don't settle." Tears pricked her eyes. "You always knew how to make me feel that way." The line hummed with unspoken tension. When she hung up, the room felt emptier. She stared at the Hollywood sign in the distance, a symbol of dreams pursued and dashed. Back in Chicago, the contrast was stark. Mike picked her up from the airport with flowers, lilies, her favorite. "Missed you," he said, pulling her into a hug. She hugged back, but her mind replayed Alex's words. The secrecy gnawed at her. Emily started deleting messages obsessively, her phone's notification sound making her jump. At a family barbecue in Mike's parents' backyard in Oak Park, amid burgers and long games, she sneaked glances at her screen. Alex had sent a poem, "In the quiet spaces between words, hearts speak volumes." It resonated too deeply. Mike's mom, a kind woman with a penchant for matchmaking, pulled her aside. "You two okay? You seem distant." Emily forced a smile. "Just tired from work." Fall brought changing leaves and cooler wines, but Emily's world was heating up. Alex suggested a video call one evening while Mike was at a work happy hour in Wrigley Field's shadow. On screen, Alex looked ruggedly handsome, his apartment cluttered with camera gear and canvases. They laughed about old professors, shared vulnerabilities. "If I were in Chicago," he said, eyes intense, "I'd show you how appreciated you are." The words hung heavy. Emily changed the subject, but the seed was planted. The confrontation came on a stormy November night. Thunder rumbled like distant artillery as Mike rummaged through her laptop for a shared file. "Tax documents," he said. But an old WhatsApp web tab was open, a message from Alex visible, "Can't stop thinking about our talk. You light me up." Mike's face paled. "Who's Alex?" he asked, voice steady but laced with pain. Emily's world crumbled. She confessed everything: the messages, the calls, the emotional pull. "It's not physical," she sobbed. "But I know it's wrong." Mike paced the room, rain lashing the windows. "Emotional? That's worse, Em. It's like you've given him pieces of us. Of me." He packed a bag, heading to his brother's place in Evanston. "I need time. This hurts too much." Alone, Emily curled on the couch, sobs racking her body. The apartment felt cavernous. She messaged Alex, "We have to stop. This is destroying me." His reply was understanding, but it didn't ease the ache. Blocking him felt final, a severance of a lifeline that had become a noose. Healing was a slow burn. Emily sought therapy in a sleek office in the Loop, unpacking layers of dissatisfaction and fear. Sessions with Dr. Patel, a soft-spoken woman with a knack for cutting through bullshit, revealed patterns, her avoidance of conflict, Mike's workaholism masking his own insecurities. They started couples counseling too, tentative steps in a Gold Coast clinic. Mike returned after a week, wary but willing. Months passed. Winter gave way to another spring. Emily threw herself into her art, finally mounting that gallery show in a small space in Pilsen, vibrant abstracts inspired by urban emotions. Mike supported her, attending the opening with genuine pride. Their conversations deepened, rebuilding trust brick by brick. Alex faded into memory, a lesson in boundaries. Emily learned that cheating wasn't just bodies entangled, it was hearts wandering, seeking solace in shadows. In Chicago's resilient spirit, she found her own stronger, wiser, committed to the light.